To stop Keroche Breweries CEO Tabitha Karanja from contesting for the Nakuru Senate seat over tax evasion. Mr. Daniel Mahiri wants the court to find Mrs. Karanja unsuitable to hold public office. And that story has been encompassed on today's edition of The Standard. Make sure you grab yourself a copy. Page 12 sort of breaks down the intrigues behind that particular mention that happened today before Justice Joel Ngugi in Nakuru. And I understand my colleague Ibrahim Karanja was following up on that particular mention of the case and now joins me live with more developments on this particular petitioner who wants the Keroche boss out of the Senate race over the tax cases that have started since 2006 linked to Keroche breweries. Ibrahim Karanja, what's the latest right here and what developments happened today in court?
Well, Jesse, 40 minutes ago, the matter came up before Justice Professor Joel Ngugi of the High Court here in Nakuru, and it was appearing for directions inter-party, where we have seen the lawyers representing the petitioner, Dan Mahiri, the lawyer here being Jinaro Kimutai. We have also seen the lawyers representing the first respondent, that is Tabitha Karanja, Keroche. The IEBC and the UDA party, the IEBC, the EACC, KRA, and the Office of the Ombudsman were the other respondents in that particular petition that was filed in Nairobi, actually, before it was moved to Nakuru by Justice Anthony Mrima. So what we have seen is that the Honorable Judge, Justice Professor Joel Ngugi, has given a date of the 29th of June as when this particular matter will now come back before him for further directions and hearing. And he has given either sides days to prepare their submissions. He says that on the 29th of June, they will all be appearing in court physically. Each of them will be having 15 minutes to prepare their oral submissions, after which the judge will then again give directions. But Jesse, you have correctly said, there is a development to the story, because right now, even as the judge has given days for either sides, that is the respondent side to bring back their replying affidavits, and the petitioner side to also continue submitting more documents to the court, Tabitha Karanja has already written a replying affidavit to the court through a law firm that represents her. The law firm is Kabugu and Company Advocates. And the most interesting point that is standing out in that particular replying affidavit is that Tabitha Karanja is saying that she is not the owner of Keroche Breweries Limited. In fact, she says she is just an employee employed as a CEO in the company and a director. I repeat, she says that she is not the owner of Keroche Breweries, but she is just an employee employed as a CEO and director of the company. Because in the petition, Dan Mahiri had stated that Tabitha Karanja owned about 95% of shares at Keroche Breweries Limited, a company that has been fighting tax evasion issues since 2006. And just to bring our viewers to context, according to Dan Mahiri, Tabitha Karanja Keroche herself confessed to owing in excess of 950 million shillings in terms of tax evasion, and even came into an agreement with KRA in terms of how she was going to pay that particular monies. But according to Tabitha Karanja, she is not the owner of Keroche Breweries Limited. That is according to the replying affidavit that she has sworn in court. Just to read to you what it actually states, Jesse, the few things that Tabitha Karanja has captured in her replying affidavit. Number one, she says that I am the respondent herein, a female adult of sound mind and therefore competent to make this oath. Two, that I have seen this petition, notice of motion, application, and the supporting affidavits by Daniel Mahiri Gishaga filed herein, and I wish to reply as follows: that I am a parliamentary aspirant vying for Nakuru senatorial seat in Nakuru under the UDA Alliance Party banner. I participated in the UDA party primaries on 14th April. That I emerged the winner of the alliance with 98,000 votes, beating the petitioner herein who came in distant second with 12,240 votes. So Tabitha Karanja moves on to say that the petitioner, Mr. Dan Mahiri, is a sore loser that Mr. Dan Mahiri is a sore loser and is not motivated by ethics or the ideals alleged in the petition, but his motivation is selfish, aimed at eliminating competition for personal gain. Remember, these are two people who met face-to-face in the UDA party primaries with Tabitha Karanja emerging winner. So Dan Mahiri in his petition saying that it was a public interest petition. But Tabitha now saying that Mahiri is not acting on behalf of any resident of Nakuru, but as a sole loser in that particular petition. Now, the most interesting bit again, which I've said, is that I am employed. Jesse, get this. I am employed by Keroche Breweries Limited as a director and the chief executive officer of the company, but I am not the owner of the company as alleged by the petitioner. Keroche Breweries Limited is a reputable manufacturer of alcoholic beverages with several brands. She goes ahead to mention the brand. And towards the end of her affidavit, that she also says that in any event, I do not understand what the tax... just to repeat it, that in any event, I do not understand what the tax relations of Keroche Breweries Limited have to do with me as a private person distinct from the company. That in any event, I do not understand what the tax relations of Keroche Breweries Limited have to do with me as a private person distinct from the company. So quite an interesting turn of events in this particular petition filed by Dan Mahiri. Of course, we shall be following up to see what the court will be deciding on the 29th of June. Remember, Dan Mahiri is seeking to have the court bar the IEBC from clearing Tabitha Karanja from vying as the Nakuru senator here in Nakuru. Remember, the IEBC will be doing that exercise at the end of this month from 28th to early June. So the fact that that case will be coming up on the 29th of June will also be giving us another context to try and analyze, because the IEBC might already have cleared Tabitha, considering that there are no interim orders that have been issued so far. But Jesse, that is a story we are following up on, adding to the conversation that has been ongoing about leadership and integrity. And of course, with that, our personal opinion from Chief Justice Martha Koome when she appeared on Spice FM and stated that those, especially for governors, those who had been impeached remain impeached. For members of parliament, those who have been convicted and sentenced, they remain convicted and sentenced, even if they have appealed that particular judgment until such a time when the decisions are overturned. So quite an interesting thing coming up. But the latest is that in her replying affidavit, Tabitha Karanja Keroche says that she is not the owner of Keroche Breweries Limited, but employed as the CEO and director of the company. This, of course, refuting the petition by Dan Mahiri that she owns 95% shares of Keroche Breweries. Jesse.
Well, it's set to be an interesting court session on 29th, as you mentioned, but that's the latest in terms of that court hearing that happened today. Ibrahim Karanja coming to us live from Nakuru, where that particular case was listened to today by Justice Joel Ngugi, where the petitioner wants the Keroche boss out of the Senate race over the tax cases linked to Keroche Breweries. And in a replying affidavit, the lady in question this time round has definitely distanced herself as being the owner of Keroche Breweries. Tabitha Karanja mentioning she's just an employee and employed as a CEO and director. More intrigues are set to follow, especially since what Ibrahim Karanja mentioned, the timelines in terms of clearance of candidates who will vie in the August 9th general election. That particular process is set to be done by the IEBC as of 28th May. We'll definitely keep you updated. But away from that, let's cross over